What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel, and the most handsome dad, Garrett Morlang. Here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and pocket poppy, Adrian Homeboy Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
What's going on, my man? Happy Memorial Day. I hope you're having a good one.
Happy Memorial Day. Yeah, it's going pretty well. It's been busy, but good.
Yeah.
Spending some time with the family. Everyone else got the day off, so it's been fun. Especially me. I've especially had the day now. I've had the day off for a couple months now.
For a minute now. Also, happy Dragon Quest Day. It is the anniversary of Dragon Quest. It's its 38th anniversary. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what. Yeah, the 30. Which one? What anniversary? 30th.
38th.
38th.
Mm-hmm.
So is that originally an NES game, or was it even before that? Okay.
No,
I wasn't sure.
It was NES. It was before
MSX
Final Fantasy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Like right before,
Impressive.
though. Maybe like a year or two.
That's so crazy. And to think I've never played one ever.
And there's 12 of them.
12.
Well, gonna be 12 of them.
Oh, the 12th one's not out yet?
No, I've been waiting on it.
I thought 12 is the one that has that long, ridiculous name that Eddie always makes fun of. That came.
No, that's 11.
Oh, okay.
No, 12 got announced like 2 years ago, and then we hadn't heard hide nor hair about it since then. And then just now for the anniversary today, the creator was like, oh no, I just had a meeting about it. Actually, we're going to start talking about it here pretty soon. I just wanted to make sure that, we were ready to go. It's like, oh, okay. You could have said that a year and a half ago.
Better late than never, right?
I guess.
Oh, man. Well, if you, for you podcast listeners, you're not even going to notice any difference. But for those watching live while we've recorded on Twitch and YouTube, it is currently 2:35 p.m. in the afternoon on Monday. It's an early episode, man. It's weird to see daylight outside.
We hardly ever get to do these. We're going to get done and be like, wow, the sun is still out.
I got a whole day left.
Exactly. What do I do with myself after this?
I don't have to stay up till like 1 or 2 in the morning working on stuff. It's going to be great. I'm going to get it all done before dinner. Oh, man. But yes, normally it's in the afternoon, so I guess I wanted to lead into, we do live stream these recordings. You can watch us over at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys and youtube.com/supergamerboys. We dual stream both of those spots, so you can find us over there while we're recording the podcast. And then so Monday evenings typically around 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. But Tuesdays around 8-ish, 7:30 or 8-ish, and then Thursdays around 8 or 8:30-ish. Just stay tuned for, if you follow us and ring the bell on there, you'll get notifications when we go live. But yeah, Tuesday and Thursday, me and Adrian play games. So make sure to, if you're not, again, if you're catching us on podcast later, make sure to follow us on YouTube and Twitch. Turn on those notifications so you know when we're going live, so you can catch stuff like this if we go early, or even when we're playing games during the week. But all right, let's get into the meat and potatoes here. Today, we're going to be talking about rumors of Xbox's next-gen console, maybe coming sooner than you think. Neil Druckmann, I spelled his name wrong on Google Docs.
Oh, okay. I thought you were having a malfunction there.
No, it's Neil Druckmann's evil twin brother.
Neil Druckmann?
Neil Druckmann's comments on AI in games, and a new Astro Bot game may be announced very soon. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumple Smash and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates, Mama Mare, and Carrie. You're going to be awesome, just like all of those folks and more. Make sure to support us over at patreon.com/supergameboy. Make sure to check that out. We got from $1 a month all the way up to $15 a month, various tiers that you can support us at. The biggest perk that was getting episodes early and ad free, such as this show, getting the Patreon exclusive shows such as season 1 of Super Gamer Book Club and Super Later Boys. So yeah, be sure to check that out. We'll talk more about our Patreon later on the show. But first, one last thing. Shout out to Jack Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on the show. We very, very much appreciate all of their fine talents. Today, we are listening to DJ Trooz, I believe. Yes, it's my DJ Trooz playlist. So if you're enjoying what you're hearing, make sure to go check him out. Links will be in the show description. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on podcasts later, make sure to find them over on Apple Music and Spotify. DJ Trooz, that is DJ Trooz. All right, let's go ahead and check the mail. Let's see what Super Gamer Bot's up to, right?
Fire it up.
What? We're doing an episode today? Shouldn't you two be outside? I should be out by the digital pool right now. Oh well, let's get to it.
He's got a fair point. He's got a point. They got a point.
I mean, yeah, we could be out enjoying the sun, enjoying family, but instead we're cooped up inside of our offices in these
doing
dark
podcast.
Rooms, doing a podcast. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's on me, Super Gamer Bot. I was like, hey, you know what? I enjoy my rest on this holiday, so I'm gonna go to bed at a decent time, or maybe spend time playing some video games for the first time in a while.
There you go.
But all right, Super Gamer Bot, do you mind throwing that first question to us?
Sir Prince Alad asked, what's a property that you would want to see as a video game? What style would it be in?
Sir Prince Alad wants to know, what's an IP you want a video game of? What would the style of that game be? And I even see here mentioned what kind of soundtrack would you want for that game?
Ooh, boy. A lot of the IP that I currently enjoy, I feel like are already games or have, been games in some form. So it's kind of tough for me to be like, what would I want it to be? You got one?
Right. I was struggling with it too, because I was like, right away, I was like, oh, Alien would be so good. I'm like, because there's
already multiple Alien games.
But what I was thinking, I more jumped to like, man, Alien Isolation was such a phenomenal game. Like, I wish it'd come out with a sequel of that, or like just a game with similar gameplay to that's just amped up to 11. Like, I don't know, like a new next gen version, even if it was just a remaster of that game. Let's give us the next gen version, like a PS5, Xbox Series X amped up version of Alien Isolation. Be freaking amazing. But I do have one.
Shoot.
This was again, it took me a while to noodle on this and figure this out. And I think it's a pretty good one. I think you're gonna like this. So I think I would love a Shaun of the Dead game in the style of Vampire Survivor.
Okay, I'm listening. Hold on, you're cooking.
With the 8-bit chiptune soundtrack, like of what I like. Obviously, that just fits with that sprite 2D style, like the style of Vampire Survivor. So that's what I would love. But instead of this being like in an open field, it is in like downtown, whatever small town in England somewhere, wherever they are, in just battling out in the streets and waves of zombies and different creatures come. And so I literally just like a skin of Vampire Survivor. I think that'd be amazing. And then like just make chiptune versions of the soundtrack. I'm sure they have a orchestral soundtrack that was used in the movie. Just like, all right, just make simplified 8-bit chiptune versions of that. I would eat that up. Vampire Survivor is a game I never got super duper into, mainly because it
ruled.
My Game Pass subscription lapsed, and I was just like, that's not worth the $18 a month or whatever I was paying just for that one game at the time. Like, I'm kind of waiting for more things to build up. Like, now that Hellblade 2's out, I'm like, all right, might be time soon to re-up a subscription.
Give it a shot.
Go through and spend a month playing through a bunch of games. But I love what I played. I love the whole idea behind it. It was just so easy to just like turn off your brain and just like just run around for a while. And so much fun, the different abilities and stuff like that. So yeah, Shaun of the Dead, Vampire Survivor, with that sweet 8-bit chiptune, just fantastic. That's my pick.
I have one, but I don't know how I would do it. I don't know what style I would do it in.
Okay, we can collaborate here.
There's an Image comic that came out in 2015 called Shudder, and you can look it up if you want to. It stars Kate Christopher. She's the daughter of like I don't know how you would explain it, like an explorer, I guess. Her father was an explorer, and she gets entangled with a whole bunch of people who knew her father and have to deal with, basically like, it's like a Sins of the Father thing, but it's like an adventure comic. So I guess maybe it would be like, I envision it being like, it plays like Uncharted, but maybe it looks like the art style in the comic. So maybe it had to be a little cell shaded or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Just, what if it was almost like a, what the heck was that called? What was that studio that made The Walking Dead? Telltale series.
Oh.
Telltale. Make a Telltale game version. Would that work?
I mean, it could. Yeah. Because there's not necessarily, I don't think you necessarily would have to control the action per se. There is action that happens in it. I don't know, because it's.
Or do you think the action would be pretty fun, like to be able to?
Yeah, I think because of some of the stuff that she gets into.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could still work if it was like. Now, what if it was almost more like a 3D platformer? Like I'm thinking like Tearaway or something like that.
Yeah, I can see that working.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, this is not knowing anything about the comic at all. Just trying to go off of base of kind of what you said.
The action sequences kind of make it feel like Indiana Jones, if that's any help or any indication, right?
Okay.
That's why I was saying it would kind of have to play like Uncharted or the recent Tomb Raider or something like that.
Okay. Huh. Yeah, that sounds sick. I mean, just looking at this, I might keep this page up and maybe check this comic out later. Is it available anywhere, like on a subscription or something like that? Or I guess
it's on Comixology, and I have it downloaded, so I can send it to you when I bought them off of Image. They give you a PDF of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd be down to check this out. This looks sick. I haven't read a comic or anything in a long time. I mean, when I had my iPad, it was so nice. I had one for work. It was great. And then lost that job. That was my previous job back in August. And I was bummed when I lost that because like, no, how am I going to read comics now? So it's not the same on the phone.
It's the best, dude. Reading comics on iPad is so good. But now they took Comixology down. Basically, like it's a shell of its former self. And that was like the place to get comics at. So now there's no, particular store.
A lot of the stuff that I was reading, I got from Libby, which is the library app. So you just sync your library card.
Yeah, I guess you could do that.
And then like that's what I got. I mean, I was reading through One Piece with that. I was reading through what was that Call in the Night? That was that vampire one with the two teenager vampires or whatever. Or the one was a vampire, the one kid wanted to be a vampire. Yeah, I loved Libby. I mean, get everything for free as long as you have a library card. It's like most libraries have access to all that stuff. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. So, cool. Yeah, this looks cool. And honestly, that sounds like a great game. Like I thinking about like, it's easy to be like, if it's Uncharted, it has to look photorealistic. It has to look realistic. It has to look like a Naughty Dog game. But honestly, like the more I think about it, I'm like, no, that would be pretty sick. Like running through like, it is a 3D world, but with the hand-drawn like aesthetic to it, like it would be pretty sweet. I feel like it'd almost feel like a Persona game in a sense. Kinda, but except you're free roaming a lot of the time. Yeah, with the controls and feeling of Uncharted, but with like I just think of like the city sections when you're running through is like there's kind of a little bit of that hand-drawn feeling to stuff. Cool. Well, that's it for the questions this week. Remember, if you want your questions heard, either or not either, there's no either. Join us over at Discord. That's just the way. I guess you can DM us on social media. If you follow us on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, send us a DM if you want. But really the best way is go to supergamerboys.com/Discord, where you can join us for free. Hang out during the week, talk about what video games you've been playing, movies, shows you've been watching, music you've been listening to. We haven't talked about it much in our Discord, but I've been up in some other Discords talking about the new 21 Pilots album. It's pretty sick. So maybe if you listen to that and you want to talk more about it, join our Discord and we will. Trying trying to think what else we do over there. We just hang out, have good times, and you can ask your question. That's the main
Fair
reason
point.
you
Yeah,
can join too. So come ask your questions. We need them for the show. We love them. It's fun to interact with you guys, the listeners. All right, Adrian.
Yes, sir.
I see in the chat. We were in the middle talking, so I didn't address it initially. First, I want to say thank you to A Taffer for following, but I also want to say JJ Purdom is in the chat.
I saw this.
The heavyweight podcasting champion of the world. He's been long gone
Back
for
from
a
the
minute.
Phantom Zone.
Back from the Phantom Zone. I just want to say hi, and I'm glad he's here because I was gonna let you know that it's now time for the nerdy news.
Oh, now I gotta really do it good because he's here.
Don't screw it up. He's here. He's listening to us.
It's now time for the nerdy news.
I always forget that on the live stream it cuts out because Discord cuts it out. So JJ,
okay.
you'll have to listen later.
He got the intention. He knows.
listen to the podcast later, and you'll hear it in all of its glory. It'll be fantastic. Oh boy. All right. So let me make sure this is all up and running. Yeah, there we go. This first news story comes to us from Screen Rant, written by Todd Black. New Xbox console leaks hint at big change in strategy for next generation. A leaker has claimed that Microsoft is already preparing its next Xbox console for launch. While that isn't surprising in and of itself, as console makers start prepping their next systems once a new one releases, the leaker claims that the next console will release far sooner than projections felt it would. Leaker, the Ghost of Hope, posted on X, formerly Twitter. I hate that they do that. Just say call it X or call it Twitter. They don't
Just
need
call it Twitter, man. We know what you're talking about.
Everyone calls it Twitter.
X.
Posted on Twitter that according to their quote-unquote trusted sources, the next Xbox console would be released in the latter part of 2026. If true, that would mean that the system would come out around 6 years after the release of the Xbox Series X and S. Interesting. Just as important, the Ghost of Hope indicated that one of the big day one releases would be the Call of Duty title expected to drop in 2026. Microsoft currently owns Activision and thus may roll out the red carpet for the series' annual entry to make it stand out. This prediction specifically contradicts the documents released during the FTC versus Microsoft trial when the company was in the process of acquiring Activision Blizzard King. In key filings, Microsoft documents were made public, which speculated that both Microsoft and rival Sony would release the next line of consoles in 2028, not 2026. However, recent events might have indicated that Microsoft needed to push things out faster. For example, despite Xbox Game Pass being hailed as a game changer, subscriptions have gone stagnant in recent months. Another issue is that despite the Xbox Series X and S being released in 2020, its sales have been slow going. As of February 2024, the combined sales of the system were under 28 million. In contrast, recent numbers for the PlayStation 5 indicate that the console is at 59 million sold. The two systems were released within days of one another. And Xbox head Phil Spencer noted in other documents uncovered in the FTC case that he felt the Microsoft platform was the superior system. Yet, the PS5 has done vastly better in both hardware and software. If you can say for certain what the next Xbox system will be, rumors have spread that Microsoft will try to emulate the Nintendo Switch's success by making an Xbox with a handheld peripheral, but that's not been confirmed. Furthermore, Xbox has tried to copy Nintendo in the past via the Kinect, and it backfired on them. It should also be stated that the leaker, the Ghost of Hope, is typically known for only providing information about Call of Duty, so their words about Microsoft's next system should be taken with a grain of salt. So yeah, there's some news that Xbox is pushing things up a couple years and looking to make Call of Duty the big launch title. How does that strike you? Because
dumb.
Yeah, because I'm thinking them moving up the launch of their new console isn't necessarily dumb, but the big launch title being Call of Duty seems strange, especially when they have a deal with PlayStation that they have to continue to release that on other consoles for like the next 10 years. I don't know the exact number.
Exactly.
So their quote unquote launch title that's supposed to draw people to their console is a game that's still going to be available everywhere.
you know what's going to happen? People are going to be playing whatever other console because they also have a commitment with Nintendo. So by the time that this comes out, we're already going to have that next piece of Nintendo hardware, right? So people on other platforms are going to see this. They're going to be playing their games. Xbox is going to make an announcement. Oh, we got a new console coming out and it's going to have the new Call of Duty on it. They're going to look and they're going to go, oh, that's great. And then go back to playing their game.
Yeah. Or go back to playing Call of Duty on their own console because
that's what
they
I'm talking
can.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, whoa.
They're going to be like, oh, okay, who cares? I'm still getting it here. Why?
Unless
if you're banking on Call of Duty,
unless there's some loophole in the deal where they're able to do like a timed exclusive. I don't know. I feel
like that go directly in the face of all those FCC hearings. The FCC would be on them so fast if they did that.
Yeah, again, I haven't read all the official legal documents or whatever deal they came up with, but that's the only thing I could see them really making this work is like, okay, yeah, no, it's like if in the fine print they technically are allowed to have it exclusive for like a couple months, like maybe not a long time. It's like, oh, get it like a month or two early by buying an Xbox or something, which still sounds silly. Like, why would I buy a $600 console to play 2 months early? No, stupid thanks. Call of Duty. But I say that, but people do that. People do stupid stuff or spend.
I don't think enough people would warrant that.
Not enough to make it worth it the while. But I'm just thinking like freaking Ubisoft with their buy the gold edition and play a week early. And so many people will spend like $120 to play a game a week early. And half the times it's so riddled with bugs, it's unplayable or the servers are broken. So you're paying for a beta test. That's what's going to happen with Call of Duty is like, you're going to pay for like a 2-month beta test or something. Again, it's complete speculation, but all around, it's just a wild choice for them.
They act like the old Call of Duty is just going to shut off. You know, as soon as this one comes out, like, oh, I guess I have to go because they're going to turn this Call of Duty off.
Yeah, shut down.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe that's the news is they're actually going to shut down Warzone like right before. Like, sorry, this is the last.
If you want to keep playing Warzone, you got to buy the new Xbox.
Yeah, you want to play a free game? Well, you got to pony up the dollars to play.
You want to talk about backlash? You think you've seen gamer backlash before? If they were to pull a stunt like this,
there would be literal riots in the street. Like,
absolutely, there would be Molotovs going right in Redmond right now, or Seattle. I mean, right now.
Xbox fans are just a completely different breed. They are absolutely bonkers, wild people, and to think of pissing them off, it sounds terrifying. Like that's
not only that, not just regular pissing them off, but like sending them over the edge. Because now you're telling me it's $600 to play Call of Duty now. I got your $600 right here. Stay right there.
Obviously, they'd never do anything like that, but I don't know. It's just
it's just fun to say. But people are going to take it like we actually mean they're going to do that.
Still a wild.
They can't even hold their own resolve to not buy a game. You think they're actually going to do something? Okay,
that's true. Oh man, yeah. I don't. As far as the next gen coming a little sooner than everyone thought, because originally, the talks were 2028. Now it's 2026. I guess for me, it is surprising a little bit because most generations are like at least 7 to 8 years. 7 kind of being the sweet spot, I feel like, but I don't know.
I don't think they can afford to wait that long anymore. I think technology is advancing too rapidly at this point. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, things are constantly changing so much not with graphics, that's for sure. Because that's I think so that's like my biggest thing is like even whether it's PlayStation or Xbox, I'm not going to be biased one way or another. This next gen in general, we're in a weird spot where I feel like graphics aren't going to get that much better for a long time. Like we've kind of plateaued. We're in this weird like graphics plateau, and I guess I just hope PlayStation or Xbox or whoever it is, whenever these next gen consoles come out, that they don't focus so much on the graphics. Because so far, that's what with this generation, they both focused on graphics and they focused on how fast the SSDs are. And the SSDs are fast and
that
games
was the biggest
fast.
Upgrade to me.
It's great. It's fantastic. I love it. But honestly, the graphics haven't been that much better with the games. Like
this was not a $500 graphical jump. Not in the slightest for either side. I have not seen a game yet that makes me go, there's no possible way that this could have been done on PS4. No, they could have did it on PS4.
Other than like what I've seen of gameplay videos of Hellblade 2. Like that's supposed to be on a whole nother level.
That's like the first one, but we're 4 years and some change in now.
Exactly.
And they're getting ready to go to the next one.
Yeah. So I just hope they focus on something different. Like I hope the next generation of consoles can, I mean, obviously if you're selling hardware, there has to be some hardware change. So off the top of my head, I'm struggling to think of what else there is. If it's not graphics and if it's not, if it's not SSD, the memory, what is it? Do they start upgrading audio? Like Sony kind of touched on it this gen with like the 3D audio. Is it now? Is it time to like, okay, now we're going to upgrade the audio chips in there and come up with this crazy new AI technology that does is 3D audio.
I guess they can, but Sony already did that, and they actually did it really well. Yeah, the Tempest Engine, I have to hand it to them, is amazing. So I don't know how they can even improve on that this quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Xbox did their typical marketing speak of like, this is going to be the biggest. What did they say? Biggest technological leap in the history of Xbox from one console to the other. There's no way.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Yeah, at this point, it's like until the technology is actually out there to make graphics better, then don't make that the focus. Because you made it the focus and you've not been able to follow through on it. And honestly, too, like more and more, I feel like I'm seeing it more and more on the internet. It's not everyone, because there's still very much large groups of people who are in the one camp, but there's a lot of people who are also coming over saying it's not just about graphics. Make a game that's fun and has a good story.
First and foremost.
Yeah, because so many games are coming out that are graphically impressive, but then empty, story-wise, narratively, and empty narratively and gameplay-wise, just like not fun to play. And like, I would be fine with graphics taking a hit if it meant that every game that came out was fun.
Less buggy.
Yeah.
Had more innovative systems in it. Made sure that every time it was a top tier story. I would take that over 4K any day of the week. And even then, the 4K that they tried to push, that they put on the box, never happened. No. And if it did, it only happened with what? Racing games?
Yeah,
and then it wasn't 4K. It wasn't native 4K. It was 4K with the rendering tricks they have to put in.
Right. Yeah. So all the consoles output at 4K, but it's all like fake 4K.
It's just upsampled 1080p
in most cases. So yeah, it really is.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I feel like
I almost wish they would skip the next gen, and instead of being like, hey, a new console's coming out, be like, hey, here's the new Xbox, and instead of showing a box, it's just like, here's what we're doing for our game portfolio to really like so everyone is expecting like, ooh, the new Xbox, like thinking they're talking about the actual box itself, when really they're talking about the company. Hey, here's the new Xbox. It's not a new console, actually. We're going to keep using the Series X, and since that technology
is getting the most out of it,
and that Series X, that technology, obviously, like the parts in that is getting cheaper and cheaper as time goes on because things are progressing. Sell that at a cheaper price point, make that the Series S price point, and be like, hey, you can go out and buy Series X. But the main thing we're talking about is here's our slate of games and how we're going to make them actually fun and actually good. And it's not just about graphics. Like, kind of throw everyone for a loop, because everyone's expecting to announce the next console, and they're like, actually, we're not. We're going to stick with the current gen that we've had, but we're going to come at it from a different strategy, like a different angle. And I think that would be, I don't know.
I tell you what, if they came out and said, if they said Series S or Series X was $299, I would definitely, I would look.
And imagine, I mean, and I'm saying this is the year 2026 or 2027. This isn't now. Right. I think it's still a little too soon right now. But say in 2026 or 2027, when we would all think a new console's coming out, instead of a new console coming out, say, hey, this thing has enough power. We just haven't learned how to utilize, we haven't best utilized it. So that's the quote unquote new Xbox is our new development strategy. I don't know. I know that's wild, and that's not what Xbox is going to do because they just want to
marketing.
Yeah,
you're not going to see as many returns. Blah blah blah.
Obviously, to keep things fresh, like I'm sure there's the
you know what keeps things fresh? New good games. That's what keeps things fresh.
Exactly.
New good games at a good, consistent release rate. That's what keep consoles fresh. I don't care about the box I want to play it on. I'm gonna have to play it on. What am I playing on the box? So far, you've given me one game that I'm like, oh, this is a killer app, or it should be a killer app, but you know the market for that is not as big as it should be, which is just Hi-Fi Rush. But everything else was like, oh, it's okay, it's not bad, it's pretty good. Even with their new flagship Hellblade, that's what I've been hearing is it looks phenomenal, but as far as actually like a game, it's okay. You know, like that PS4 game. What was it?
Yeah, well,
the Vampire Hunter one.
The Order 1887 or whatever. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. It's been kind of polarizing. I've heard some people been like, oh, it's not bad, it's fine. But then I've heard other people who've given it like 9 out of 10. So it's like, it just depends on what you're into. Honestly, I feel like from everything I've heard, because I've read both the positive and the negative reviews, and I'm like, even the negative reviews have me like, oh, this sounds like my kind of game. Like the reason this person didn't like it is because they were expecting like an Uncharted level action when really it's more slow plotting storytelling. And that's not what they wanted. So I'm like, well, that's what I preach every week on this show is I just love games for their stories. So I'm like, this game sounds amazing because it's just like, you know, that the action sequences aren't necessarily what you would expect. And the puzzles are kind of similar to what they had in the first game. But I mean, the story is supposed to just be like, you know, still great. And I'm like, okay, well, that's what I want in a game. So yeah, I've seen kind of both reviews, and all the reviews I've read, I'm like, honestly, Hellblade sounds pretty amazing. But that's just because I have a weird taste in games. That's very much like I can forgive bad gameplay when the story is really good. Because I've heard the story's great even from the negative reviews. It's just more, the gameplay wasn't
a slow burn.
Wasn't people's. Yeah, it was more like slow. But I don't know. Obviously, I haven't played it, and I hopefully I can soon if I can get an Xbox subscription or get a job first and then get an Xbox subscription. Try it out. That'd be a fun one, but I don't even know if my computer could run it. I need to look at like the minimum specs.
I feel like it should be able to. Right, a 3090 is still out. It's still running circles around a Series X. So
I have a 3070.
Or 3070, I mean.
Maybe.
Or it's at least on par. So I feel like you should have a good chance.
We'll see. I'll have to look up some specs later. But yeah, so yeah, Xbox may, again, it's all rumors, all leaks, quote unquote leaks. So more rumors and everything. You know, the article calls it a leak, but until anything is substantiated, it's a rumor in my book. We'll see. I'll have to wait and see if Xbox has anything to say in the next couple of years.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man.
We got time.
They need a W right now.
2026 is a long way away, so we have time. All right, this next news story comes to us from Games Radar, written by Jordan Gerblick. Neil Druckmann says AI will enable Naughty Dog to make more adventurous projects and push the boundaries of storytelling, despite ethical issues we need to address. AI implementation in video games development is increasing at a frightening that's a typo, at a frightening rate. And Druckmann has ensured Naughty Dog won't be an exception, although he admits there are some ethical hurdles to figure out. In an interview published by Sony, the Uncharted 4 and Last of Us director shared his vision for video game storytelling in the next 10 years, and it's a future in which AI is integral to development. This broadening of possibilities is fueled by increasingly accessible tools that allow even non-technical people to use their imagination and create worlds and narratives to their heart's content, Druckmann said. Moreover, AI is really going to revolutionize how content is being created, although it does bring up some ethical issues we need to address. Specifically, Druckmann said AI, along with the ability to do motion capture from home, will reduce costs and technical hurdles by taking on duties that would normally be allocated to human staff. That'll allow Naughty Dog to take on more adventurous projects and push boundaries of storytelling in games. This evolution is truly empowering creators to bring their visions to life without the traditional obstacles, he said. As for those ethical issues, he wasn't specific, but one can only imagine he's referring to the displacement of human jobs. It's worth a reminder that this interview was conducted and published by Sony, and you can bet the company has its own plans for the role of AI in PlayStation games. Sony chairman and president Kenichiro Yoshida recently touched on the issue during the company's corporate strategy meeting presentation, describing AI as a technology that supports creativity, but one that isn't a substitute for human creativity. Creativity resides in people. We will continue to contribute to people's creativity through technology, he added. So there's nothing super duper deep here in Neil Druckmann's statements, but there's a big discourse on the internet that kind of happened this last week when he made these comments or when the interview came out, because there is just a huge, I don't know. It's scary right now in the industry with so many layoffs happening and studios shutting down, all these things, and a lot of it being attributed to just the lack of jobs already because of AI and the replacement of it. So, there's this.
It's not AI, it's greed.
And greed, both. Yeah, lack of jobs and greed with where money is going and where instead of where it should be going. I don't know. I'm not sure how much this is actually like, I don't know. I wish he would have said more, I guess. Like, I know he can't because he can't just like blow up what they're working on right now at the studio, but it is this, I could see how this could be worrisome to some people, if that makes sense. Especially if they work at Naughty Dog and they're like, wait, is this going to start replacing my job? Because he goes on, because he's trying to say like, oh, it's not meant to, yes, it'll replace some people, but it's also meant to help, the creative people to keep creating. It's like, all right, well, what about the people who aren't necessarily on the creative team, but still want a job in gaming? Like, does that just mean they're out? Like, I don't know.
I feel like it's hard to immediately be like, oh, well, he wants to use AI, because we don't know exactly in what capacity he's looking to use it in, right? Like,
yeah,
the misconception that a lot of people have is that a lot of games already use AI, but they don't use it in the sense of like the actual creation of whatever asset, right? Like they use AI to take the human created assets and then, make them do whatever automated tasks that the human development team would not have time for in order to save time, aka save money, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know necessarily what Neil is referring to when he's saying, maybe he's thinking, oh man, the new AI program we got, it's gonna be able to generate, all these other layouts and things like that we can decorate over, and it's going to save us a ton of time, and we'll be able to get something out, maybe before PS5 is done. But we don't know. We don't know what he means by that, so it's hard to say.
And that's really, I wanted to address the story because it did create a big hubbub, but in reality, like, just to kind of like set the record straight, like he doesn't say anything damning in this article. It's very neutral. And so like all the people who are like setting, sound the alarms and freaking out over what he said, it's kind of like, well, he's not straight up saying like, yeah, I can't wait to cut the 136 people's jobs this next week when we implement an AI,
Right.
But
pump your brakes.
But also like, I don't know, that is a fear. Like, okay, like, is there a chance that people down the road get replaced? But even then, like, I guess what I'm curious about, and this is getting on a totally different discussion from even video games, just AI in general, like AI still needs to be, AI isn't smart. AI needs to be taught to do the things it does. So even if like, all right, maybe it replaces the person who does data entry for X, Y, and Z, for plotting points for motion capture or something like that in a 3D space. Now they can just do it with AI. Well, someone needs to like train the AI to be able to do that. And as things get more complicated and with the movements or whatever, like they still need to, again, there almost needs to be a handler for this AI. So It's not even completely erasing jobs and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. It's just the jobs are going to change, I think, in the games industry is what I hope. is what I hope.
AI is so it's we have so long to go with our use and relationship with AI before it starts to be like how it's portrayed in movies. Where it almost seems as if it's gained sentience. Like right now, at best, AI is more of a party trick than anything else.
I mean, have you seen the post about like because Google's new AI is pulling stuff?
It's causing mayhem.
It's pulling stuff from Reddit.
To put glue in spaghetti sauce to help thicken it up. What?
It's because it's pulling stuff. I heard someone talking about it the other day where it's because it's pulling information from Reddit because because a lot of AI just combs these data sets, and some of those data sets aren't even from human sources or necessarily, or
right.
So they want to, so Google's like, we'll fix it. We'll make it so it actually pulls from human data sets via Reddit post. And
I was gonna say, what
Reddit,
you forgot?
half of Reddit is just like, just shit.
It's a cesspool.
It's just people like memeing and joking around. And so that gets turned into an AI response to how do I make, whatever, nice, thick. I know the one you're talking about. It was cheese on a pizza, wasn't it? It was like add
something
glue
like
to cheese.
It was some ingredient to a dish, and
add glue to it.
Yeah, use glue and it'll thicken it right up.
Or make sure
and
to
also
drink,
kill you.
Or make sure to drink 2 to 3 liters of, instead of water, drink 2 to 3 liters of urine every day or whatever. It's like, what? But all it takes is like one person to joke about it on Reddit or wherever on the internet.
And Google is spouting it as a fact.
Google is like, yeah, this has got to be true. So Google AI is only as smart as the person who feeds it.
Right.
And so I think there is sustainability, at least for the time being, within the games industries where jobs are just going to change. Instead of you doing the work of, it's like a helicopter flying over my house. Earlier, there was like a really low flying plane. Now there's like a loud helicopter out there.
You're on the radar.
We are World War III right now, dude. What is happening?
You joke, but it could pop off anytime. You joke.
Honestly. Yeah, I guess I would hope is like the jobs would just change a little bit. And in that instead of people losing their jobs, they could just be trained in a different direction. Like, hey, because you're an expert in this, take your expertise and train the AI to do it, and whatever, and help, and then, all right, that's a great skill to learn. If things are going to, in not just the video games industry, but other industries around the world, that's becoming more and more common where people are like, or businesses are looking for people who know how to work with AI. So it's like, yeah, that's a great business skill to have, or job skill to have, is like, I've trained an AI before, and other business will be quick to snatch you up. Be like, all right, cool. Come train our AI now. I don't know. I just don't think there is quite as much alarm as there should have been with this article.
Let's keep it a buck, right? Naughty Dog is way too up their own butt to be like, yeah, we're going to let AI make a game for us. They love talking about how artsy and sophisticated and well-rounded and polished they are and how skilled they are. You think they're going to let an AI take all that glory and credit from them? No way. No way.
Yeah, that's true. They're like the video game studio snobs up there, just looking down their glasses, their noses at everyone. Just
are you guys making Ratchet and Clank down there? We're making games about flawed people.
Oh, so good. Yeah, so Neil Druckmann did say that, but I don't think it's as bad as everyone was thinking. Now, there was something else he said. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but it's apparently that was a complete and like just completely made up by whoever at Sony interviewed him, took something he said and rephrased it and made it sound exponentially worse. I can't, what was it? Let me see if I can find it now. But it was something in that same interview, because that interview was done by over at Sony. So he said in the interview that was shared, it said, Neil Druckmann said, this is from IGN, an article by Ryan Dinsdale. Neil Druckmann says Naughty Dog's next game could redefine mainstream perceptions of gaming. And he goes on, like, just a very haughty, we are the best, Like
a very Naughty Dog response.
Honestly, it was very believable. Like,
right.
That's why people believed it, because it's like, this sounds like something Neil Druckmann or like people at Naughty Dog would say. But he actually tweeted out and said, "This is not quite what I said," a short thread over on Twitter. And then he posted the real interview, which that kind of blew my mind. I don't know why, but I didn't realize interviews would be edited down so much. I knew they'd be edited to a certain extent for maybe length, but the fact that this person
taking poetic license with what Neil said, aka he didn't say that at all, actually.
Yeah, it's one thing to just cut words and sentences out to like shorten it and condense it, make it more readable, but to completely rewrite what someone said was wild. And so he posted the actual like interview, and it says, "In editing my rambling answers in my recent interview with Sony, some of my words, context, and intent were unfortunately lost. Well, here's the full long rambling answer for the long question about our future in games." And yeah, it's like he doesn't even say those words. Those words that popped up in that quote, like I don't even think he even says. But I'm not gonna read the whole thing because it is long and rambling. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up. Like, it's just be careful what you hear out there. Who knows? Maybe even his AI comments are taken out of context, and he's just like, whatever. Instead of having to continually address all these things, he's just taking a break. Or maybe he said worse things and Sony edited it. Who knows?
Or is Neil Druckmann an AI, and we don't know it?
We'll never know.
You didn't think about that one, did you?
Never thought about that till now. Now, I mean, honestly, it's possible.
See?
I don't have any way to prove that he isn't AI, so.
I mean, let's be real. If anybody's an AI, it's Kojima. 100%.
No, there was a video of him riding in a tractor last week.
Exactly. The most random thing. That's what an AI would do.
I love
If I'm AI Kojima, how do I make the world continue to think that I'm just this eccentric, quirky guy? What can I do? Oh, I know. Take a ride in the baler of a of a construction machine and film it.
Driving across the beach or a desert or some sandy area in the bucket in the bucket of like a front loader or something. It's like, what in the world? With like, what was the soundtrack playing? He put like music over it. Something wacky.
Didn't
like,
say a word.
No
just
words.
filmed himself riding. Yeah, no, he's an AI.
I love it. He 100% is, and I'm here for it. Oh man.
He's oh my God. What was the name of that program they had to upload?
What do you mean, the Fox Die? Isn't that what it?
No, not Fox Die. The one that Otacon's sister made.
Oh shoot! What was that? Why can't I think of that?
Let me Google it.
I need to know.
Yeah,
we have to find out. Let's find out. So good. Well, while you're looking for that, I got the last news story here, written by Michael Cripe.
It was GW.
Oh, the GW program.
Yep.
That makes sense. Yeah, I could see it. I 100% believe, or not 100%. It's I have a higher probability of believing though that Hideo Kojima is AI than anyone else in the games industry. That's for sure. Even 100%. Like his Game Awards appearance was just like one of those holograms, like what they did with what's his name back in the day. I only remember when they did the Michael Jackson hologram. I'm sure it's gotten better since then. That's the last time I saw.
It's either that or
I've seen that technology used.
Or that was his version 1.0 Android body.
Yeah,
walking down on the stage. You notice the new updates. He's got the gray hair installed now on the sides and everything. You know, this is the new version.
He's realizing like, oh, I'm like 60 something. I should probably have gray hair and
exactly
not look like I'm 30 or 40. You know,
my internet searches have shown me that men in this age range, males. He doesn't say men. Male humans in this age range start to show gray hairs on their temples and beards. I'll be installing an update tonight.
Heck, I'm 30 and I have that. What the heck? I got that update early. How do I go back a firmware?
At least you're getting a hair update. I'm getting a hair deletion. All right.
Oh, no. All right. This last news story comes to us from Michael Cripe over at IGN. New Astro Bot game rumored to be announced in the next 2 weeks. Sony is rumored to be gearing up to announce a new Astro Bot game for PlayStation 5 soon. The details
Let's go.
come from D Labs and reliable leaker Billy Bincoon, which say that developer Team Asobi will apparently reveal the next entry in its cutesy robot platformer series sometime in the next 15 days. Part of the unannounced title is said to take place in a desert area with a new character described as Fennec Fox in the form of a robot that shares some similarities with Astro. IGN understands the rumor to be accurate. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
This is such a weird way to put that, but thank you. The D Labs report adds that the title may simply be named Astro Bot and expects to be released exclusively for PS5 and not PSVR 2. Asobi's next game has been rumored for some time.
It's dead.
Yeah.
It's dead. Are you kidding? The game or the platform that introduced Astro Bot's not getting another game. It's dead.
It's done.
PSVR 2 is done.
Asobi's next game has been rumored for some time, as in 2021, the studio published a job posting that teased its most ambitious game yet. I remember talking about that on our podcast. You can probably go back and listen to that episode. The studio later doubled down on this, saying its next project will be its biggest to date. Asobi cemented itself as a PlayStation studio in 2021. The Summer Game Fest set to kick off in the next few weeks. It's no surprise to hear that PlayStation has some announcements in the cards. A PlayStation showcase of some kind has been rumored for weeks as well, with many believing that Sony will announce a summer presentation sooner rather than later. However, it's probably best to keep expectations tempered until a PlayStation event is officially revealed. Astro Bot has appeared only a handful of times in the last decade and is usually used to highlight PlayStation hardware features. Astro Bot Rescue Mission, a game we gave a 9 out of 10, wowed PSVR users upon its release in 2018. Then the launch of PS5 in 2020, users were treated with Astro's Playroom, a platform that dived into the PlayStation history while putting a spotlight on the DualSense controller's features. We gave it an 8 out of 10 in our review. It's hard to say exactly how the next Astro game will build upon Asobi's previous work, but the team seems to at least be confident in what it's been working on for the last few years. I am so here for this.
Stoked.
Astro's Playroom is up there with one of the best PS5 games. I'm going to say it.
I'll say it is. They can fight me all they want. 100%. I don't know what's better than it. What would you say is in the running? Maybe Ratchet and Clank. Yeah. That's the only other thing I can think that is as good as Astro Bot.
A Sony exclusive, PlayStation exclusive, PS5 specific exclusive game. Like, I think Ratchet and Clank is the only thing. And I think to me, it would edge it out. I think Ratchet and Clank would be above it, just barely. But
I can't fight you on that. I think they're both fantastic.
Astro's Playroom, like visually, was extremely impressive. It was a gorgeous game. It did a great job showing off the DualSense controllers and actually had like really fun gimmicks, which I thought was amazing. Yeah. And it's just an incredible platformer too. Like the worlds were fun and like this whole story and collecting all of the PlayStation trinkets. Like that was the best part, filling out my whole, that you can walk into that room. There's just like 100 little knickknacks, half of which I didn't even know ever existed. I've been a PlayStation fan since like the beginning. And I was going through there. I'm like, what? Like there was this peripheral for the PlayStation 2 and this for the PSP and whatever. And
I feel like a lot of them didn't come out here.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of stuff probably is Japanese exclusive, but getting a sequel to that or just like something in that world sounds so good. Sounds incredible.
I'm all for it. All for it.
I love how the rumor or leak or whatever you want to call it specifically mentions though that it's not coming to PSVR 2. Like they wanted to also kind of like take a little jab at Sony, like
take a dig. Yeah.
PSVR 2's dead.
Hey, it's not coming out on your stupid headset. Sorry.
Oh man.
You know what? For full transparency, when they start to fire sale PSVR 2, if one ever gets down to like $250,
$199.
Okay, $199. Might do it.
I might do it.
$550 is insane.
My biggest gripe with PSVR 2 though is it's not backwards compatible with PSVR games.
Right, and I already have a lot of those.
I have a big old library, a ton of games on PSVR, and so I would almost rather just buy a PSVR 1 again
and just play it on the 5.
Yeah, exactly. And play all the games I already have that I know are great, and half of which there's a lot of them I didn't even get to because I ended up having this. I sold my PSVR early because we need to pay some bills. I was like, sorry, gotta go. It's the first thing to go. And so like I have games I never even got to. I was so excited to play on there. So it's
you know what though? We talked that talk, and then I remember how much of a pain in the butt PSVR 1 is to set up with that extra box.
That was sucks.
And then you got to do the HDMI to the PS5 or PS4, and then the PS4 HDMI out to the TV, and then hook the box up in the USB. Oh my God. Actually, you know what? Let me buy a PSVR 2. Let me just buy a PSVR 2. No thanks.
Yeah, no, it was annoying. It was frustrating, but I don't know. I had so much fun in that world. But being my first ever touchdown to VR, I'd never played any other VR headset before that. That was my first time ever doing VR. Like that was so magical, so incredible. And now, like recently, maybe like 3-4 years ago, like I got the Oculus Quest 2. I love my Quest 2. I would love to get a Quest 3 at some point because I've heard they're amazing. But obviously, it's like I was shocked even with how much of an upgrade there was to Quest 2 from PSVR. Like I always thought PSVR was incredible, and then I played a Quest 2. I'm like, oh, this thing's wireless. It's doing it all wireless, and it's better than the PSVR. Wow, okay. It's pretty amazing. But Achievement over on YouTube in the chat says Oculus Quest 3 has the best startup experience. I haven't touched a Quest 3, but man, like I would love to try one out sometime. Quest 2 is amazing.
Because the demo or the what?
Wait a second.
What?
Okay. Is there even a little bit of a chance of Sony's been bringing a lot of their games to Steam? Is there a chance we get Astro's, not Playroom, but Astro Bot, the first one that was in VR? And
Rescue Mission?
Yeah, Rescue Mission, like eventually coming to Steam, like to play on VR.
To play on what do they call their thing?
They have the Valve Index, but I mean most like I can play all those Valve games on my Oculus too, just with like Steam Link.
Right. I mean, I'm never gonna say never, right? Because we've seen crazier things happen, but I feel like it should be re-released for PSVR 2 before it goes anywhere else.
No, you said it yourself. PSVR 2's dead, dude. They're not bringing it back.
It is, but I don't think they would do it because it would be such a slap in the face of people who already have PSVR 2. If you're putting your VR games out on Steam before you put it out on our headset that you made us buy for $5,000, you know what I mean? So
I just would love.
I'm not gonna say never. I'm gonna say I would probably if they did the legwork and made sure all PSVR 1 games work with PSVR 2, then I would say it's much more likely that they can come to Steam. But no. If they can't even get them on 2, then no thanks. Not happening. Anytime soon anyway.
All right. It's a bummer. Thanks, Adrian. It's bummed me out.
So, I didn't bum you out. Sony bummed you out for making a subpar piece of hardware.
I have my hopes up.
With no support. AKA,
up.
which they're really good at, apparently, because this is the third time they've done this?
Yeah.
Put out a piece of hardware and not support it, and then go, it flopped. We're gonna drop it.
Like, what do you expect is gonna happen if you're not gonna do something with it? Absolutely.
Well, at least this one doesn't have proprietary memory cards that cost an arm and a leg, unlike other handheld consoles that came out in 2012.
Well, heck, even the PSP had that with the memory stick duos. They're proprietary.
But they weren't
I'm
stupid
glad.
Expensive back in the day, I feel like.
Yeah, they were more than SD cards, that's for sure.
Not a whole lot. Not as much as the Vita memory cards were than SD cards.
That's true. That's one
thing. And
they
gave you one.
When I recently got, I guess it was a few years back now, like 2-3 years ago when I bought a PSP because I could play Crisis Core. I love that I could go to Amazon and you can buy the adapter so I can use a micro SD card in my PSP. Oh, that was amazing because the adapter is like pennies. It's so cheap, and I already had the micro SD cards laying around, so it's like, this is so great. This is so easy. It's like have like
they were so worried about
of storage,
piracy and getting hacked. You have to get over yourself with that, dude. They're gonna hack the console. Okay, you can put as many safety checks and security checks and whatever else. They're gonna hack it. You need to just make sure that it's easier to buy games from your store than it is for people to steal them and, you know, take them offline and then put them on the SD card. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
If I have to go through a whole bunch of steps to mod your console to play the homebrew games versus just one click download to turn it on, one click to go to the store, download game, I'm just going to download the game and pay for it.
Right. And you want to make it even better is if they've paid for it before on a previous console, give it to them.
It just works on there.
On the new console. Like all these, that's something I've thought about with like, because PlayStation Plus, they got rid of PlayStation Now, the streaming service, but they've implemented it in PlayStation Plus. So it's still there, but it's just called PlayStation Plus now. I love how like they'll add games that were previously available. Like they have the whole PS1 collection, and a lot of them, it's like, oh, these were games I could buy on my PS3 back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But if I get rid of my PlayStation Plus subscription, I can't play them anymore. But I've paid money for them. So like they're there, but I'm not allowed to use them because I don't have a subscription. Like that's wild to me. It's like I already, like if I paid for it on PS3, I should be able to have access to the digital version.
Nintendo is doing the exact same thing with Switch Online.
Yeah.
People bought all those games on Wii and Wii U, and then now they're just on a subscription service, even though we already paid for them before. And if you turn your Switch Online off, you can't play them anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah.
They got us.
They are not the only ones with slimy practices, unfortunately.
All right. Well, that is it for the nerdy nudes. Now I think it's time for our Patreon ad.
Let's do it.
All right, this is the part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us over there, starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 each and every month gets you episodes all month long, early and ad-free, such as this show, such as Super Later Boys, which is our Patreon exclusive show, only get on Patreon. Super Gamer Book Club Season 1, only on Patreon. And any of our shows, if they release on a weekly basis whenever they are in season. I know right now Super Gamer Book Club is on a break, and Super Dungeon Boys is currently on a break, hopefully coming back the future some point here. Then you will get those early and ad-free. You don't have to listen to ads on the Patreon feed like this. This would all be cut out, and you don't have to deal with ads on YouTube either, because it gets uploaded directly to Patreon for you to watch over there with no ads that YouTube and Google automatically put in there that we don't even make money off of yet. That's why we need your help to get up to we need 1,000 subscribers. If you can get 1,000 of your friends to go over and subscribe on YouTube, that would be amazing. But anyways, back to Patreon. $1 a month, episodes early, ad-free, over on, and the Patreon exclusive shows over on our Patreon page. $5 a month, you can get the show notes ahead of time as well. Know exactly what we're going to be talking about. Leave your own questions, comments, concerns about the news stories, about the listener questions, about what you're playing. If you have any thoughts on any part of this show, leave your notes on the show doc, your comments there, and we will read them here on the air. So if you want to be a part of the show, have your voice heard, think about supporting us over on Patreon. The $5 level. $10 a month, you can be a Super Gamer sponsor and get those previous perks, and a big old shout out at the top of the show. And then the top dog tier, $15 a month, Patreon producer. You get all the previous perks and the ability, the chance to pitch a segment. Obviously, everything is subject to, what do you say? We need to vet it a little bit because we've had some issues in the past with segments. So maybe get it vetted first, but then go subscribe over there, $15 a month, be a Patreon producer, and we'll throw your segment out there. We've had losing reviews where we watched bad movies and gave reviews on them on the show. Adrian back in the day was a Patreon producer, and he gave us Super Indie Boys. Used to be a one-off segment in the middle of our show where he talked about a game. There's a bunch of games actually that you should go play, indie games, which eventually spun off into the Super Indie Boys it is today, which we occasionally release on YouTube. We've had a lot of fun segments, a lot of awesome Patreon producers over the year. even Super Dungeon Boys was originally kind of an idea from one of our Patreon producers. I believe Eddie mentioned it. And then we spun that off into a whole show for Spooky Gamer Boys a couple years ago. So if you have some cool ideas that you think would be fun to watch us talk about, something fun to watch us do, a new show, whatever it might be, think about, support us over on Patreon producer tier. We very much appreciate it. And shout out to all you Patreon supporters. You're not listening to this because you get it ad free, but if you happen to stumble upon this, thank you so much. We appreciate you very much. You can support us over at sgbstore.com. You can buy some sweet merch. We got a hat with our logo on it, a dad hat. I wear that thing all the time. I love it. You should go get one yourself. We got t-shirts, we got sweatshirts, we got coffee mugs, we got stickers, we got whole 9 yards. Lots of fun stuff over there. So think about supporting us there. And stay tuned. Hopefully more to come. I've been working on some designs, maybe some summer themed stuff. I'm having, some issues more on with our merch provider side, getting things dialed in, but we're going to make sure it's all perfect for you folks. I'm really excited for some of you, for you guys to see some of it. So not some of you to see it, for you guys to see some of it. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We'll have hopefully some new merch coming soon. Last but not least, if you're watching at twitch.tv/the Super Gamer Boys, you can support us over here not starting anything. You can support us over here for free. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link that to your Twitch account and you have access to a Prime gaming subscription. It costs you $0. That's right. It doesn't cost you a penny. All you got to do is link it, log into your Amazon account on Twitch, drop that sub on our channel. We get $5 out of it, and you get some more perks. So not only are you helping support us, but you get ad-free viewing on Twitch, and you get access to our emotes. So think about doing that. It doesn't re-up every month automatically. You have to remember to do it each and every month. So if you've done it in the past and you think, oh, I'm good to go, no, go check it out. It's probably lapsed. Probably just sitting there. Jeff Bezos is just taking that $5 and going to Subway and getting his $5 footlong. So if you want to help,
Jeff Bezos is not eating Subway. Don't do that.
You don't know
Don't
that.
do that.
You don't
he
know
is
that.
not.
They also don't have $5 footlongs anymore. They're like $8.99. They're like so expensive. I went to, granted, it was in an airport. I went to like a Subway in an airport, and I was like, why is this footlong so much? Like 6-inch sub was like $7 or $8, I think. And then even more for the footlong. Obviously, that's airport pricing, but still, that's wild. But yeah, take that footlong right out of Jeff Bezos' mouth and give it to us. We'd appreciate it. That's what I'm going with.
That's a double entendre right there, good buddy.
Nope.
Too late.
Darn it. I'm glad JJ's not listening anymore. I hope he's not anyways. But yeah, think about dropping that sub on our channel. We'd appreciate it. Gets you ad-free viewing and emotes, and we get $5 out of the deal for free. Think about it. All right, let's get back to the show. Adrian, my friend.
Yes, sir.
I need to ask you.
What's that?
What are you playing currently? Or as the kids say these days, what you playing?
Well, I don't know if you've heard, but I know I put the word out before. The newest season of Fortnite has started.
Oh.
It started on this past week, and it is the Wastelands is the theme for this new season.
Okay.
And it's introduced basically it's Mad Max, right? For all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
There's car combat. Everybody's decked out in the armor that you find old trash, kind of repurposed and But the coolest thing that they're capitalizing on is one of the skins for the battle pass that you can unlock is the T60 from Fallout. So, awesome. And it's a ways into the past too. Like you got to play a little bit to get it.
Dang. I know you.
But I'm
mentioned,
fine with that.
You had mentioned us dropping in together. I haven't gotten any invites yet, but I also need.
We got to stream this week.
That's true. We got 2 days this week. We could probably play some. But how far into it is it? Because like what I liked about the Metal Gear drops, and even the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle drops, it was more like they were missions that you just had to complete.
No, so this one is less mission based. It's more you gotta level up. Like it's in the pass as a reward.
Okay.
So you gotta play for it.
Okay. I mean, I'm down to play and help you out, but I don't know how much, if I'm willing to put the time in for myself to get it. Cause that's just like, again, it depends on how far into the pass it is. Like if I have to play like 100 hours of Fortnite, like that doesn't sound great to me.
I don't know about 100, but
like
I mean, definitely a few.
What I loved about Metal Gear is like I was able to unlock everything in like 10 matches. Mm-hmm. Like it was like, all right, couple days, knocked it all out. It was great. Playing more than that. I mean, everyone here knows Fortnite's not my favorite game. It's a fun game. It can be a fun game. Certainly no build mode. That was revolutionary when I realized, like when I went to do the Metal Gear stuff, I'm like, oh, this no build mode actually is fun. I never tried it. Everyone always said it was great, but I never tried it. But
no, man, it's a great game. Okay. It's well made, and it's. A lot of people are complaining about the car combat being a little bit too good. Like the cars are a little too powerful, but that's every season when it first comes out because they got to balance stuff, of course.
Yeah.
So they're probably gonna nerf the cars and pull the damage back and all that with bug fixes in time. But
right.
Yeah, man, I've been having a great time with it. That's probably the biggest thing that I have been playing. Okay. And then in some ancillary stuff.
There is a game you played last week and didn't talk about in the show. Oh, what was it? I was going to bring it up. You had told me you played it, and then I was surprised. It was like Tuesday or Wednesday. It hit me. I'm like, oh, he didn't talk about that. He played that and didn't talk about it. What was it? Oh, I was going to ask you. This is good podcasting right here. I should have wrote it down.
It wasn't Animal Well because I feel like we talked about Animal Well.
No, yeah, we talked about Animal Well. No, there was something else. Dang
what did I play that I didn't talk about playing? I feel like I would have talked to. You talking about Neurodiver? Because I haven't finished that yet.
It was Neurodiver because you streamed it. I was surprised like you didn't even talk about that you played it on the show.
Oh, I guess I didn't, did I?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Read Only Memories Neurodiver. I've been saving it for stream. I was actually gonna continue it tomorrow. So far, it's exactly what I wanted. It's more Read Only Memories, which is all I can ask for.
That's awesome.
I was surprised to find out that there's full-on voice acting right off the bat because the original Read Only Memories was text only.
Okay.
And then in the big update, like the re-release, is when they added all the voice acting in.
Right.
So I was all set to sit down and have to read and do all the lines, but no, it's fully voiced top to bottom. So
that's awesome. Hey, that's great.
Me and chat on whatever day I stream, we're just sitting there and we're enjoying the interactive, voiced visual novel. So
that's awesome. Now, is gameplay similar to the first one, or did they? Okay. Is there any new mechanics that they've introduced that change up a little bit, or is it pretty much like the same?
So, in Cyberpunk, the brain dance.
Okay, yeah.
Well, when you do neuro diving for somebody, it's essentially that.
Okay, I see.
But it's point and click instead of you actually going around the memory. Like you'll find things to kind of bridge the gap between certain things, because a lot of elements in the memory will be blurred out or glitched out, and then you have to go and interact with other things that were going on at the time to uncover other things, other elements of it, and then eventually you'll piece it all back together, and then you'll get whatever information that the person was looking for or that you were looking for. So that's the big new mechanic. So that's cool. It's basically it's all the good stuff with of the original Read Only Memories, but now you can do brain dances.
Nice. And the soundtrack is just as amazing.
Bumping, just like usual.
Okay.
I don't know if they have the same people back, but still good. Still great.
Good. That's awesome. I have it on Steam. I had pre-ordered it, and I was tempted to try it on my Steam Deck. I don't think it's technically Steam Deck certified, but there's a lot of games that aren't that still work. But yeah, I've been dying.
I mean, it has a touch screen, so you can, or you can use the pad.
Pads. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to try it out at some point. But I've just been holding off because I'm like, I'm in the middle of Kingdom Hearts 2. I haven't.
Fair.
So I guess here's my answer for what you're playing. You haven't asked me yet, but this is my answer. I didn't play anything this last week. I was friggin' busy. I was driving up.
You were playing the game of life, actually. That's what you were playing.
Driving up the coast of California. I was in Santa Cruz last week. I was out in the wilderness camping for a couple days. Like I was off the grid. Like I haven't done anything other than just work and play hard, you know. But video games were not a part of any of that. So, but I'm so excited to get back into Animal Well, and I think I'm really close to finishing that. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'm really close to the end of that. Kingdom Hearts 2, I'm nowhere near the end of that, but that just is going to be my whatever stream game, I guess. But yeah, now with Narrow Diver out, I'm just like, shoot, when do I jump into that? So I'm thinking like, if I can finish up Animal Well and then get close to the end of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that'll be my treat. Let's jump in and read on.
I feel like you have to be at the tail end of Rebirth at this point.
I think I told you before, I'm at like 79%, like 80, almost 80 hours in or something. So like, yeah, I'm pretty close to the end of having that wrapped up. So not much left. But oh man, that's awesome. Anything else you've been playing since I have nothing to contribute? You playing Neurodiver? You're playing Fortnite? If not, that's fine. You don't need to. We don't need to pad the show. I just want to make sure. I felt like I cut you off before when I asked about Neurodiver.
No. I was like, anything ancillary that I can really talk about and not necessarily know. Okay. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Super Gamer Boys. We appreciate each and every one of you. Take the time out of your day, evening, night, afternoon, morning, whatever it might be. Take the hour and a half to listen to our podcast. We really, really, really love that you do that. So thankful. And if you do, if you happen to stumble upon this, whether it's on your typical podcast app over on Apple or Spotify, or Terra Player, which is the new podcast app that we are on currently, or you're stumbling across a YouTube video, think about subscribing, thinking about liking the video, leaving a comment, leave us your thoughts. Be nice, please. I'm a sensitive person and I cry easy. So, but if you really, really, really love what we do, you know, and you've already subscribed, you've already followed, you've already liked all of our stuff, think about going to patreon.com/supergamerboys, supporting us over there, starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1. Episodes are ad-free and access to Patreon exclusive shows. We would very, very much appreciate that, because that's what helps keep the lights on, keeps the mics running, helps keep our website up and hosting fees and all that stuff. I need that now more than ever, especially with any external income from a job I might have is non-existent at the moment. So we need this to keep the show going. So thank you for all of you who do support us over there. And if you've been thinking about it for a while, please think about it again. Patreon.com/supergamerboys. SGBstore.com, you can buy our merch. I mentioned it earlier in the ad. We got hats, we got shirts, we got stickers, we got whatever. We got all the stuff. And as teased earlier, may or may not be a new summer collection, something coming, maybe. I don't know. Been working on some
Keep your
stuff.
eyes peeled.
I'm working on some stuff. I'm really excited. I need to iron out some kinks with our merch provider because I'm thinking, we're working through some stuff. We'll figure it out, but stay tuned. There might be an update there, hopefully by summer, because summer is coming upon us very soon. Rate and review us where you can over on Apple Podcasts or maybe over on Spotify. Think about dropping the 5 stars over there. We'd appreciate it. Helps the channel out a lot. Shout out to Jack, Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on the show. Today, you've been listening to DJ Trooz, so go show them some love on Apple Music and Spotify. Follow their pages, add them to your playlist, listen to their music, show them some love. You can find us during the week over at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I am on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can people find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere online at Homeboy.
All right, and with that, that's the end. That's all I got. So Adrian, do you mind taking us out?
I gotcha. Folks, thanks for hanging out with us on this here Memorial Day 2024 episode of the Super Gamer Boys podcast. We appreciate everybody who took some time out of their day I mean, I guess we all didn't have too much going on if you're in the US, but anyway, we appreciate you nonetheless. And we also appreciate any form of support that you give us, whether that's hanging out with us here in the live stream of the episode, going to watch the VODs, or even just telling somebody that we exist and that, you know, we might be a couple of neat dudes that they would be into. So yeah, enjoy your day. Be well. And as always, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
We'll catch you on the flippity flop.
And we ain't talking about Jeff Bezos' foot long when we say flippity flop. Okay.
We're definitely talking about Jeff Bezos' foot long.